Yes. They haven't even signed it. There's another small. It's good. Okay, we ready? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of April 24th, 2019. Will everyone please stand for a salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice of this meeting has been satisfied in accordance with Chapter 231 PL 1975 by advertising in the Home News Tribune, notifying the Sentinel Publishing Company and the Star Ledger, and also posting on the bulletin board and filing with the Borough Clerk. Roll call.
Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Henry?
Here.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Here.
Mr. Corrigan?
Here.
Mr. Emma? Here. Mr. Civilli?
Here.
Mr. Foley?
Here.
Mr. Kemp?
Here.
Mr. Cornell?
Here.
Is that on? There we go. Chairman and members of the public, if anyone's here on the first application listed, which is case number 19-01 BKD LLC at 1979 Highway 31, that was listed by accident. That is not going to be heard this month. They've not yet posted notice. They said they were interested in coming in May, but please wait till you receive notice or it's listed on a subsequent agenda meeting. So that's all the announcements I have, Mr. Chairman. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. First application is 1905, Richard and Kathy Pisarcik of 17 Albert Street.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, I'm Kathy Pisarcik.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Good,
Just
how are you?
need to swear you in real quickly. You swear affirm and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And get a little closer to the microphone. Doesn't take a
I
while.
do.
So I know you have your architect here, so
Yes,
just
the architect's here.
explain to the board what you want to do at your house, and the architect will fill in the details.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, just need to add on to the rear a bathroom. And because of the layout of the property, a variant is required. And also in the front, just kind of add on to the front porch. That's it. If you guys have any more questions, I believe
wait
the
for the
architects
architect.
can answer more detailed questions.
We'll get into more questions after we hear from the architect.
Yes, okay. Should I
Yes.
bring it up?
Bring them on up.
There you go.
Good evening, sir. Need to swear you in? You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please give us your name, spell your last name for the record.
Sure, my name is Thomas Connolly, Connolly, and I am the principal architect at Connolly and Hickey Historical Architects.
And just
in
briefly, your
Branford, New
licensed
Jersey.
architect in the state of New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay. Chairman, we accept his qualifications?
Yes, we accept qualifications.
Please continue.
Thank
Do
you,
we have a
Chairman,
mobile?
members of the committee. We are here tonight, as Kathy mentioned, to discuss the proposed addition to the rear of her house, her existing house, for the addition of a restroom, a bathroom. Currently, her first floor of the house has no restroom. The only restroom exists on the second floor. Maybe if we bring the easel over, or, and we're also proposing, in addition to the new restroom, bathroom on the first floor, a new mudroom and a rear deck to replace the one that the mudroom is basically going to take over.
And Mr. Connolly, apologize for interrupting you, but the plans that we're referring to, the same ones that were submitted with the
They
application?
are. The only difference here are they're colorized, and
Okay.
I actually have copies of those if you'd like.
That's all right, just as long as they're the same set of plans that were submitted, you don't need to mark them as an exhibit.
No,
Thank
nothing
you.
has changed other than the color.
No problem, please continue.
So what's highlighted in the darker blue color is the proposed addition, and the brown color is the proposed rear deck. We are also proposing to reinstall new front porch that replaces the old front porch that showed up on the Sanborn map of 1904. So, and that's on the cover sheet of your drawings. Sanborn documented that front porch, which used to go along the front of the residence. We don't know the exact size. Sanborn maps are, not exact, but when we undertake the work, we're hoping to find evidence of the porch on the front of the building. We're going to be removing siding and readjusting some of the fenestration, so hopefully we'll have some clues as to the exact size of that front porch. The front porch is not going any further out than the current front stoop. So we're staying within that existing front yard setback. The reason why we're here is because we have 2 front yard setbacks, and if you look at the pochade or the dash line at the center of the property, that's where we would be allowed to build if we did not need any variances. That existing square footage is, I think, 675 square feet, which is actually smaller than the existing house if we were to add no addition. So if we were able to rework the existing house somehow to fit within the actual required setbacks, we couldn't do it. So on the second sheet, we have drawings that show the existing layout of the first floor and the proposed layout. And you will notice that there is no restroom on the first floor. So there is a sunroom, a den, living room, and a kitchen. We are proposing to modify the kitchen, cabinets, and counter space. The rear porch will be demolished. There is an existing bulkhead to the basement that will get relocated to the other side of the kitchen, which is actually the north side of the house, to accommodate a new restroom around the chimney, the mudroom, and the new rear deck. On the second floor, there will be it's the basement. The second floor, we are adding a bathroom over top of the bathroom on the first floor, so we're stacking the 2 bathrooms. And the mudroom and rear porch does not continue above the first floor. And obviously the roof plan there. And the reason for relocating the bulkhead entrance, which is currently at the location near the chimney and the proposed bathroom, is that bulkhead, as you go down the stairs, ends up in a portion of the basement which is a much lower head height. This is the full head height area of the basement, so access would work better on the other side of the building to get washers and dryers and do maintenance. And that's. Any questions?
What year was the house built in?
Not exactly sure. Kathy?
I'm not sure, but it's on the 1904 Sanborn, so
So definitely before, obviously
the
before that.
homeowner's insurance is around 1900.
Yeah, it's obvious to us when we documented the existing building that the basements were added on to as the additions came. So what you see kind of here, this was an addition, and that portion does show up on the Sanborn map, so, or a little portion of it. So obviously earlier than 1904, but don't know the exact date.
Mr. Chairman, could you tell us how many bedrooms there are now and how many there will be?
The number of bedrooms does not change. On the second floor, there are 3 bedrooms, currently one is used as an office for Mr. Charkey.
So
So
as
2
I was
bedrooms.
looking at the plans, it seems as if, is the office currently used as an office now?
It is,
Okay.
yeah, and it will remain as is.
Yeah, right now, I work from home, so I use it as my home office. I can move that to one of the smaller rooms, and then I
Oh,
can use that
that's-
as the main bedroom, because the rooms are quite small.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. The siding on the house, are you going to re-side the whole house or just the addition part?
I would think the whole house. I would like to do the whole house so that it's uniform, everything's uniform, everything would be the same color, put on the same time, so you don't have to worry about anything like that.
My next question is, I have been up to your property. I was up there yesterday.
Okay.
What do you intend to do with the 2 cars and the 2 boats that are in the back?
Well, I need to move everything right now, to storage while they're working on it, but that's the size of the driveway.
I see.
Yeah.
You have no parking anyplace else.
No, my mom's visiting, so there's an extra vehicle right
I see. You have a very odd lot there.
Yes.
And I understand your dilemma.
now. Thank you. Thank you.
Tight space.
Extremely.
I have one last question here. On the plans, or the current plans, you show like, I guess, 3 windows in the front. Now there's 4, so you're gonna redesign the whole house, or are you just gonna do these few things here? I noticed you have additional windows in front.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me architecturally. I understand why it ended up like this, but we'd like to create something a little bit more regular on the front
So
elevation.
the door will be moved over?
The door will actually, yes, the door will shift over. The door is currently where this window is, and that's where the front porch or stoop currently is. We are going to shift it over, which kind of puts it in the corner of the existing living room, so you don't enter right into the main part of the house. We're guessing where that location was. It kind of makes sense to me, but again, we're in for some surprises, I'm sure, when we start removing siding, and that may adjust based on what we find, the location of some of these openings.
Are you trying to do historical refurbing here, or just?
Quasi, yes. So this is not a historic building, it's not on the register, so we're kind of trying to do the best.
Thank you.
How long do you think that this project will take from start to finish?
No more than 6 months. Probably less.
Are you removing any of the trees?
If any trees are removed, I would like to plant a new tree in its place.
Okay, because there's a lot of
Yes, there are a lot of trees.
vegetation going on there.
Yes, I love it.
Like it? Oh, you like that? Okay,
I
good.
love it. The more the better, yes.
You know, I'd just like to add that the addition that we're proposing is kind of almost entirely within the setbacks. We have, I think, 34 square feet, which kind of spill over into that 20-foot yard setback of the front yard, one of the front yards. So it's just a small portion of what we're planning is over the.
So that setback already exists, or are you encroaching on that more with the addition?
No, most of the addition fits within the setbacks. 34 square feet of it do not. And, well, as you can see, a majority of the existing house falls way out of the setback requirements.
Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to open this up to the public. Does anyone from the public wish to speak in regards to this application at 17 Albert Street? Not hearing anyone from the public wishing to speak, I make a motion that the public portion be closed. Public portion is closed. What's the pleasure of this board?
Second.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, before we do that, what exactly are the variances? Is it just that one little section of,
Mr. Chairman, two variances, both for front yard setback. The porch that's on the Albert Street side of the property encroaches into the front yard setback. And then that little addition that the architect spoke about, small portion on the Hensler's Lane side, that's between the setback line and Hensler's Lane, that kind of triangle-shaped area, that's the reason that there's two variances, a little triangle and the front porch.
Jay, you would say that at least half the house is outside the,
Exactly right. And also, the board typically asks questions about corner lots and site triangles. This corner lot, the entire house is in a site triangle, so
Right.
it's not an issue with the additions.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. The addition is really in the backyard and not visible from the street.
thank you.
I have a motion and a second to approve the application. Roll call.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes?
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Emma?
Yes.
Mr. Savili?
Yes.
Mr. Foley?
Yes.
Okay, your application has been approved. We will memorialize it at our next meeting, which is next month, after which you can go to the construction office and get your necessary permits and start your project. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank
Good
you.
luck. Can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Next is the memorialization of resolutions.
Mr. Chairman and board members, the first resolution we heard last month was for Tina Miller on 14 Forest Avenue. She's got a corner lot and was replacing a fence, one of which was in the front yard setback for Glenwood Avenue. This resolution was circulated to the board, and if there's no questions, then we proceed to a vote on the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the resolution be approved as written.
Roll call.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Emma?
Yes.
Mr. Savili?
Yes.
Mr. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the second resolution from last month was the T-Mobile application, as you may recall, over by the Sayreville Park and Ride at the end of Raritan Street by the Parkway. They were taking down an existing cell antenna location and moving it to here. There were existing cell antennas and equipment, so it wasn't much of an impact. Resolution's been circulated to the board. If there's no questions, we'll have a motion on the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I move the resolution be approved as written.
Roll call.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Emma?
Yes.
Mr. Savili?
Yes.
Mr. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that's all the resolutions we have.
Thank you. Has everyone had the opportunity to read the minutes of the meeting of March 27, 2019?
Yes.
What's the pleasure of this board concerning those minutes?
Second the motion.
Okay, the minutes have been approved for March 27. Anything else to come before this board? Make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Meeting's adjourned.
Hey, you're late. That's an interesting house, that, to be that old. I I drove by there too. That's an intense little area. I know.